about race and racism, not just as I'm worried about you, Dax, but I'm like, worry about yourself. Think about how this is affecting you too. And try to understand how it is the case that only in 2020, at that point at least, this is something that you're starting to take more seriously.
Exactly.
What has blocked you from feeling and having a deeper connection to these things?
It was the pandemic.
Yeah, and we know that it was only, if it had happened any other time, and we know this.
Because when it happened, I'm like, okay, Freddie Gray, Trayvon Martin,
like what's different here?
Where were you? Like this ain't new. So when people are asking me how I feel, and I got invited to a lot of those safe space talks. I declined them all because first of all, it was like, all right, I know this is, and I said people don't have good intentions, but it was just like, okay, for me, I'm like, man, y'all a little bit late. It's like, how do I feel? Like before George Floyd happened, like, how do I feel? Like I'm living in South Florida. I go running at night. I feel that I don't need to look suspect. I feel that I need to make sure it don't look like maybe some balls. Like that's the Black experience.
Yeah.
So for me, it definitely was like real awkward. I was just like, man, I'm like, I don't know what y'all want me to say. Like I deal with this on a daily basis, but it was like, this has been going on, and the diversity thing, all that type of stuff. I think it's just now really got some real traction. After George Floyd, situation, I think really is what kind of woke people up because they sat home and they were able to see what happened. But man.
But it's, so the book for me, what I recognized in the letter was that people responded in a way, and it went viral and people kind of found it all over the world. And what I think people were responding to was that it felt like an invitation and not a judgment.
Yeah.
It felt like an opportunity to learn and not that they were being shamed. And I wasn't, because I love I have friends across the spectrum, and I love my people, man. And I call them all my people because they're my people.
Right.
I show up for you, you show up for me. And I have my experience. And I think it's still shocking for it was shocking for a lot of people to think, oh, this Black guy who's got these accomplishments and da-da-da-da-da, he's had experiences with the police, he's been arrested before. And I'm like, wow, like, why do you see, what about me has given you the impression that somehow that's only happens to other, and that tells you right there, like that in your belief in your mind that it only happens to certain Black people or certain Black men. So let's do some work here.
Yeah.
And so the idea of the book became, I want to take you on a bit of a journey. So part of it is me taking you on a bit of a journey through my experience inside white institutions, because I think part of why white folks struggle to understand, like yesterday, the former vice president said that he believes, and he said it many times, this is Mike Pence, he thinks that, systemic racism is some stuff that was made up by people on the left. And I'm like, I get that from the perspective of a person who just doesn't know.
You don't know,
You just don't understand and you're not willing to learn. And because of your arrogance and your conceit and your sense that you know everything, or you know all that there is to know about these things, you sit in a kind of confidence in your judgment.
Yeah.
An assumption. I was reading recently, there's a new book out about the Second Amendment. This woman did a whole series of, she did research to demonstrate and to reveal that in many reasons that the Second Amendment was